Welcome to the Hanford Dixon Show. I'm Gabriella Cruz alongside the top dog.
What are you laughing at?
I just like to hear what version it's going to be every week, you know? Just like I get a feel for what mood you're in.
Hey, I am in a great mood. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We are alive and well, and how can I not be in a good mood? You're in a good mood. I mean, I'm a little mad at you because you had your hair all fixed and ready to go, and now you just put on that damn hat.
I know. No,
just
guys,
to mess things up.
It was a little bit of a question mark hair day, and sometimes you just got to make sure you got a hat just in case.
Well, you know what it is. I mean, you and Pat, both of you guys, you know, he's got a hat on over there, so
Yeah.
he told you that hat looked good because he had a hat on, and he didn't want to be over there with the hat on by himself. See, if I'd have had a hat on, he would have been okay. You know, as long as someone else had a hat on with him. You know.
Yeah, Hanford rolled up in a Yankees hat one time to I think one of our big play tailgate, and oh boy, did you get roundly made fun of.
You know,
yeah, Tony got you good, Booms got you good.
Hey, don't even talk about the Yankees.
Don't forget.
I am a closet Yankees fan, but only after the Guardians. Guardians is number one with me.
It's the craziest thing you've ever admitted on TV.
Well, can you guys believe?
Besides being a Ravens fan.
Well, that's old Browns, so don't even start. But again, after the Cleveland Browns, I am a Ravens fan. Can you guys believe, though, talking about those Guardians? They've started already, had a game already, and won.
A little bit of a hot start, too. I mean, I know it's early, it's spring training, and, you know, it's hard to say that this is what the season's going to bring. But it's always fun to see a nice hot start like we have. I mean, Rocchio was 3 for 3. We saw some nice glimmers from Will Brennan in the outfield, like hosed a guy down.
And the team we played is funny because it's Tito's old team.
Yeah.
But Tito wasn't there.
He wasn't managing that. Not yet.
Tito said, well, he went to, I don't know where the hell he went, but I know he wasn't. It was baseball related.
Yeah.
I know that, but he wasn't at the game. And then he hit a home run. He's the guy that you had on your show. Yeah.
Yeah, Lane Thomas, Stephen Kwan with a couple of bombs, I think. And then, Tristan McKenzie throwing 95 miles an hour. Would be great to see him get back to himself this year.
I know it. I can't wait to see. I like him. What they call him, Sticks.
Sticks,
yeah. He's gonna be huge for us this year. Gotta have him.
I know. I need this to be his year. He's such a great person too.
Yeah,
like
for real.
Sticks is such a great locker room guy, but just a genuine person and does so much for the community. I love that our guards team is really just full of just sweetheart people. Like it's really cool that, you know, they say good guys finish last. No, they have enough edge in them. They have quite enough edge, but they're also just good people.
Well, let me say this. I'm a little bit upset with you guys because you guys have, after doing all that Guardian talk, you guys talking about these guys, you haven't said anything about my guy who I like on this team. And I'm surprised.
Big Christmas?
Big Christmas.
Big Christmas.
Big Christmas. I would love to see him.
Big Christmas followed me on Instagram.
He
I really
did?
hope we can get him for an interview.
He's
so
did?
funny. Yeah, some of the content they've posted from spring training on him is so funny. They mic'd him up. Did you see that?
No, I missed that.
It was mostly in Spanish, but they translated it for you. And but no, he speaks English too. Like he's gonna be a crowd favorite hopefully this year again. Like I want to see his personality and his bat just totally come alive.
I have a question. Now, you've seen Big Christmas pretty much up close, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you've seen DeJuan Jones up close?
Yep.
Okay,
yeah.
Looking at the two,
okay, well,
which one would you say?
It's not a fair comparison. DeJuan Jones is still an animal.
At those Cleveland Sports Awards, Hanford?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I think I thought DeJuan, I don't know what I thought, but then I was like, oh, okay.
Man,
dude,
seeing him on stage like that, wow.
Big.
Hey, it was so funny
Bro's
because
a big brick house.
Yeah, at the awards, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at DeJuan and I'm looking up like this at him. And but I would love to sit in the locker room across from that guy, and I would love to make him mad in the locker room because
go hide somewhere.
Well, yeah, you know what I would tell him? I would say, DeJuan, all I'm gonna do is run a mile because you're gonna drop out at half, because he's so damn big. And I always used to mess with those defensive and offensive linemen like that, those big guys.
That's
all
funny.
the time and talk about them. But yeah, Big Christmas. I would love to see him just starting every day because to see him get in a groove and boy, just to watch him make contact on a baseball is just unbelievable. But I am just so looking forward.
I think we have a lot to be jazzed about with this new team. Everybody's like, oh, just be prepared for them to take some monumental steps backwards. I think, honestly, we could still be a surprise. So I'm sticking to it, especially if we have people like Brian Rocchio towards the end of playoffs. The thing that stood out to me the most about him is that intangible confidence factor. When you got somebody who's got a little bit of swag and now he's coming into his own and he starts believing in himself, just wait, because that starts to translate, and that's what you need. Baseball is a between-the-ears kind of sport, so, like, I'm looking for that, too.
Well, you know what's amazing to me with those guys talking about the Guardians baseball team? And they're over there is a group of guys talking about the coaches, the front office, and you could tell they know what they're doing.
They do.
I mean, because
they've always known what they're doing.
Well, because when you look at some of the teams like the Mets, you look at their payroll, the Yankees, what their payroll is, and then you look at the Guardians and their payroll. I mean, these guys, I'm telling you, they don't spend nearly as much money as those big market teams, and look what kind of product they put on the field. They do nothing but just win baseball games. I mean, unbelievable what these guys are doing, and I can't wait to get it started. I'm just so excited about it. I'll tell you this. I couldn't wait to tell you because I went to church yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was asking if.
And I can't believe I hadn't been to church. Well, obviously during the football season, that's a little excuse I have because I'm very religious. I'm Southern Baptist. My mom and dad would put the belt to me if they knew that I hadn't been, it took me this long to get back in the church. But I went to church, and I have to say this: my pastor, C.J. Matthews. I have to my condolences go out to him and his family. He lost his. I'm pretty sure it was his grandson.
Okay.
That was a young kid, 30 years old. So we won't talk a lot about that, but I just wanted to say the condolences goes out to him and his family. Mount Sinai Baptist Church on the east side is where I am a member. Speaking of church, when the last time you've been to church?
I went this weekend.
You did?
I went the last 2 weekends. In fact, I'm church hopping right now.
I was going to say you searching.
I'm trying to find a spot that feels right. And, I grew up in the Catholic Church, and it's funny. It's just like I grew up do you know St. James in Lakewood?
Yeah.
Gorgeous church.
Absolutely.
Like, beautiful church. One of the very few churches that they tried to close and got repealed all the way to the Vatican. They were like, no, you can't close this church. And so they went back and reopened it. And it's a gorgeous church. Like, you go in there, it feels like the Sistine Chapel vibes. It's just growing up, I can just remember it was just a poppin' place. Like, everybody's friends and family. Amazing choir. The piano guy used to let me come and, like, play the last note. Like, I thought he was so badass. And big organist. Like, the place was just a vibe, like, and gorgeous around the holidays too. We did it up, like the nativities, the poinsettias. Like, it was just beautiful, a beautiful, spiritual, alive place. And it's just kind of sad. Everything's deteriorated over time. I know that the Catholic Church, especially, and a lot of churches, they've got, stains. These are built by broken people, obviously. So I'm sure that's contributed to some of the dwindling and just like the evolution of society maybe a little bit. But anyway, I've been trying to get back into a church, find a place that feels authentic, down to earth.
And Gab, speaking of St. James, I actually have a pretty cool story. It's not my story, but a friend, one of my brother's friend's dad, he plays the organ and stuff.
Okay.
So he was at St. James going to a wedding, and I think this is like late 90s, maybe 97, 98, something like that. And so it's beautiful. This is before it's like any threat of it being closed or whatever.
Yeah.
So his name is Dan, right? So he comes to the church and he's like, okay, I'm ready to like play the organ or whatever. And then he goes back up to, up in the second level or whatever it is. I forget how it's laid out, but he gets up there and there's some guy already like warming up on the organ or whatever. And he's like, oh, do we have like a different organist today? And the guy turns around and it's Phil Collins.
No way.
It's Phil Collins playing the organ at St. James.
Wow.
Yep. I don't know whose wedding it was, but right there on, is it on Detroit, I think, or whatever it is right there.
Yeah.
But,
that's incredible.
Isn't that one of the craziest stories you've ever heard?
Oh my goodness.
So that was one of the things that they brought to the bishop in, what was it, 07, 08 when they were trying to close it.
Yeah.
And they were like, we have these incredible stories of like this church and a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And world-renowned artists come to this church.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know why every time I drive past there, it's like one of the craziest things I think about, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Isn't that wild?
That's a wild story. The thing that has been sad to me over time is like, it comes down to you gotta be able to public speak, bro. Like we need a good sermon out of these priests. And it's not to put anybody on blast, but it's like you go to church and if it feels like we're just going through the motions and you can't deliver a message, like that's a big piece of it. Like being able to engage an audience, captivate us enough to keep coming back.
And you go to church to get something out of it. I mean, just like you said, you go to get something. We have to say this, guys. The Pope. I mean, we have to continue to pray for him. I mean, he's got pneumonia. And
he's sick, I heard.
Yep.
Both lungs, and he's partially on a breathing machine. And
really? Pope Francis?
Yeah.
He was the first Jesuit pope too. And I went to St. Ignatius in Cleveland, and that's a Jesuit high school, and is very close to all of the people there too. Because I remember my senior year, we're sitting there watching on TV, White Smoke's coming up, and we're celebrating the first Jesuit pope, which was really, really cool moment, and it's good memories that way. So, you know, if it's his time, you know, I know he's pretty old or whatever, but we're still cheering for Pope Francis. I think he does a really great job of moving the church forward in a progressive way. And I think that's so important.
Like you said, he was the first.
Yeah.
The first Jesuit Pope.
Go
Jesuits. I'm John Carroll, baby.
And I'm going to say this. You know, we always, people, you know, they ask me, I'm Southern Baptist, but I don't care if you're Southern Baptist, Methodist, Catholic, whatever you are. I mean, we all believe in the same God. And I'll tell you a quick story. I know we got to take a break here, but I have some kids and stuff. They always ask me, you know, anything you could tell us, or any, you know. First I tell them what my father used to always tell me. He always used to say to me, "Believe in yourself because I do," meaning he believed in me. And then my mom gave me a Bible. And she said, "Son, if you always put God first in your life, everything else will work out okay." And I still have that Bible today. So those were good words that I always try to live by. I know we got to take a break.
I love it. Amen. We'll take a break.
I know
on
when
that
you
note.
look. I know.
Pastor Hanford in the house. Hopefully, we can get some Baptist tunes out of you after this break.
Oh, you are crazy.
Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. It is time for our Browns headlines, brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. If you're like me, you need a good night of rest. I'm telling you, Hanford, the past couple of weeks I've just been so run down, bouncing all around everywhere. You really need to have a great mattress so you can get that amazing night of rest that we're all hurting for, especially this time of year. Northeast Factory Direct has so many options for you. The memory foam, latex, even organic mattresses. And of course, all of this for way less than what you would pay at any of those fancy retail stores. You can shop online at northeastfactorydirect.com or visit any of their stores in the store, Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, or North Canton. And just don't forget to ask about that Hanford Dixon bonus.
Well, it's funny you mention that because, and now you're talking about the mattress, because I think I need to get one, Gab, because my back has been hurting me a little bit, and I think I don't think I'm just going to do just the mattress. I think I'm just going to do the combination of everything, the new mattress
maybe need
and
a new frame.
New everything. So I just want to tell my guys over there they better contact me, because I'm not going anywhere else, because I know where the deal is. The deal is with those guys. So Northeast Factory Direct, that's where the deal is. So I'm going there. So contact the top dog, and I tell you what, I want that Hanford Dixon special.
Yep.
Because
I just
know,
have a feeling they'll give you that.
I know you guys are gonna take care of me over there. But it's funny, I was listening to you talking about how hard you work. You are the James Brown. you work so hard. I mean, you know how everybody think of James Brown.
I knew that I would.
What's up?
I feel good. Isn't that James Brown?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
didn't
my.
they say he was the hardest working man in show business?
Hardest working man in show business. That's why I said.
I got you.
That's why you are the James Brown guy. That's
funny.
why you are the James Brown.
I will say this month has been a crazy busy month.
Crazy.
So we got to get our Z's in here somewhere. And Northeast Factory Direct, big shout out to Alex. I know they'll hook you up, Top Dog, as they do.
They better hook me up. I know Alex will, though. Get in touch with me, big dog.
Yeah.
Hanford Dixon special.
Hey, speaking of the Hanford Dixon special, we're talking NFL Combine this week. We know that the Hanford Dixon special at the Combine had to be that 4.39 40-yard dash.
It's funny because you mentioned that, and we were just talking about Johnny Lamb Jones. Look, this guy, Gab. Let me tell you something. You asked me, was I sure of my speed? Because I had to cover guys like this guy, and I'm telling you, this guy is a world-class sprinter. Listen to this:
4x100 meter gold medal, 1976 Olympics.
Listen to Greg Pruitt used to sit on the sideline. Okay, Greg Pruitt. I was. This is a live game.
This was your story. Yeah,
game.
This was the guy.
I'm looking at doing like this. Psst, 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 Greg, how do I know when he's going to go deep? And Greg's sitting over there on a helmet laughing. He said, from where I'm sitting and what I'm seeing, anytime he wants to do, man, for you, meaning I can't stop him, meaning the guy's just running right by me.
This guy's going.
Gab, how fast? Now, if I was a 4.39, something like that, 40, what did it's a 40 now?
You want to take a guess?
I know it was faster than a 4.39.
4.34 from Lamb Jones.
How about that?
Yeah, 1980. And you know what's crazy? Jacoby Ford, which a name that I'm not as familiar with, but 2010 he ran a 4.28 at the 2010 Combine.
Are you kidding me?
Nuts.
Well, yeah, we just saw the receiver for Kansas City, Xavier Worthy, break the record too, 4.21.
Let me tell you.
Fastest in combine history.
Who did that?
Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, and he's a little guy too.
Really?
I mean, he's a little guy.
Yep.
But I mean, these guys are. See, that's why people.
I thought there was somebody.
These defensive backs today. That's why they have to understand a guy like that. You have to get up in his face, get up on the line of scrimmage, and you have to bump him because you can't let this guys get going, and you can't miss him now. You can't miss him. If you miss him, it's over. If you miss him, you better be hoping for the DB guard.
That is
because
so
you want
funny.
the DB guard to overthrow him or him dropping the ball or something to happen, but you can't miss him. That's why you have to put all your concentration
he had
on
2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, he's got the talent, he's got the speed, but you got to
just
pray if you're a DB.
Yeah.
Juan Thornhill was kind of praying for the Browns this year. I'm not going to lie to you. But I don't know if you saw that headline, guys. Juan Thornhill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See ya.
Goodbye to Juan.
Yeah.
I kind of, and I don't know how I feel about that mixed emotions because I think the big thing, the reason why we're getting rid of him is because of we need some salary cap space. I think when we get rid of him, that's going to free up about $3 million that we're going to have. But this guy, obviously he came over from Kansas City, and I know he's got 1 Super Bowl ring. He may have 2. But I know he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. And he came out with a little statement, and he said this is probably the best thing for not only him, but also for the Cleveland Browns. So I think it's pretty much a mutual agreement between the two of those guys, and obviously we'll be able to replace him. See, guys, it's that time of the year where there's a lot of movement. That's why the Browns and everybody's trying to tweak their roster. Making their moves, and I think free agency starts in about 2 weeks. I could be wrong, but I know it's coming up pretty soon. So we're all, and boy, there's a lot of guys, quarterbacks. Sam Donald, for instance, won a new contract. Talking about quarterback with the Vikings. You know where I think, I'm not gonna tell you. I'll tell you later, but. It's going to be interesting where he goes or if he stays with his own team. But again, free agency is getting ready to start, and again, a lot of these teams are trying to make their roster better. Gab,
how about going back to the Combine really quick? How about the idea that some, like Shedeur Sanders, for example, the news about he's not going to be throwing at the Combine.
Yeah.
It seems like, is this a generational just difference in the game? Because, I mean, there's a lot of prominent quarterbacks who just don't feel like they needed to throw at the Combine. Like Joe Burrow, Caleb Williams. I was looking at this article of, there's just, it doesn't seem Andrew Luck, Matt Stafford. Now, back in your day, was that a thing?
Well, I think what it is pretty much a strategy thing with these guys. And like, for instance, when I told you guys, I ran a 40, but I only ran it one time because they wanted, they wanted to see me run it again. And I said, no, you have me on the clock is right.
You were happy with that. You weren't trying to get a 3.
Exactly.
I was happy with
3,
that.
4.
I think a lot of people are making a big deal out of nothing when they say these guys are not going to participate or he's not going to throw at the combine because he's going to throw at a day like every college pretty much that have top athletes. They're going to come in. They're going to want to look at these guys. And I think what he want to do, he want to throw to his guys, his wide receivers. And I don't really think it's a big deal. I think the most important thing that he's going to participate in, he's going to participate when they sit him down one-on-one. They want to talk to him, see where his head is, because pretty much they got him on film. They've watched him.
They've seen it.
Yeah, they have so much tape on this guy, but they haven't had the chance to really sit down and talk to him yet, just to see if he's a fit for their organization. And obviously, I guarantee you, Stefanski's going to be there. Andrew Berry is going to be there. I wouldn't be surprised if the owner doesn't go down and talk to this guy because, those top 5 picks, I mean, you're talking about those are crucial. Those are picks you just can't miss on. I mean, you absolutely can't miss on those top 5 picks. And me personally, I would definitely take this guy with the second pick if he's there. I would take him. And then what I would do is, guys, and you guys have heard me say this, I would add another quarterback. I would pick another quarterback down the line, preferably someone like the kid out of Alabama.
Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
I would take him. Now, I would take him, Pat, Gab. I wouldn't take him high. If I could steal him down in the draft a little bit, because he's someone that maybe is going to take a little work to get him where you could start him. And the kid, if you draft him, Shador, if you draft him number 2, I mean, he's got to come in and he's got to play right away. I don't care what anybody say. There's no sitting. There's no trying to get him ready. When you're drafted that high, you got to start. Because I was the 22nd pick. I think it was 22nd, 21st, 22nd pick in the first round. And man, they threw me in the fire. I had to learn as I played. I mean, and I've said it time and time again. When you're drafted, you're going to make some mistakes. But what you're going to do is you're going to learn from those mistakes. And if you're the player that they think you are, or you think you are, or that you're supposed to be, you're going to learn from those mistakes. And you're not going to do anything but get better and better and better. So that's how I feel. But I can't wait for this draft. Like, everybody's down there right now, and I think the workouts and everything starts on Thursday. I think that's when everything really starts on Thursday. So I'm kind of looking forward to it to see what's going to happen.
Yeah. So Hanford, if you're interested in these quarterbacks too, I know you like some of the guys at the top of the draft, some of the later rounds, but according to I believe it was Albert Breer today, and I'll throw this up on the screen here, the Browns would pursue quarterback Matthew Stafford if he were to become available from the Rams. The Rams kind of in a cap situation. What would you guys think? Brand new quarterback here in Cleveland. I'm not sure if Stafford would really want to come here, but I would welcome him. If he wants to come here, I'll welcome him for sure.
Yeah, all right, 37-year-old. I mean, but he's got a lot of veteran experience in leadership. Well, I don't know, Hanford, would you be open to that?
See, I hear what you guys are saying, and I kind of agree and I don't agree. I just want to go get our guy. I want to go get our guy, because if we were drafting Pat, Gab, down the line a little bit, I would say, let's bring in one of these veteran guys. But right now I said no. Let's go get there's 2 quarterbacks right there, Pat, 1 and 2. Let's go get our guy, whichever one is there. Let's go get our guy with that second pick, and let's throw him into the fire right away. I mean, let's throw him in. Because when you look at our offensive line, guys, I mean, our offensive line is not that bad. I mean, they've had their moments this past season, but they're not that bad. They're pretty darn good. I mean, let's go ahead and put our guy in there. That's why I would go later on down the line and draft a guy like Jalen Milroe. Bring him in here, because I'm telling you, I'm telling you, we need our own quarterback. Look at the kid in Washington. I mean, just to make an example.
Daniels, yep.
Jaden Daniels. I mean, this kid jumps on. He's a rookie. He jumps in there, and he's playing. I mean, he's playing pretty well. So
he crushed it.
He crushed it. I mean, that's a better word. He really did. He crushed it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, let's take a break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. It's time for our Lipton Hard Iced Tea Hard Hit of the Game segment. And really, this is a great check-in, Hanford, for us on our guy Myles Garrett. To trade or not to trade?
Well, before I answer that, you like my sweater?
Oh, yeah, I definitely do.
Well, you could say something, you know.
That was the first thing I said when you walked in today.
You could say something. So anyway, what was your question?
Myles Garrett. First of all, that was the first thing I said to you, so he's being funny.
Hey, Pat, she looked at me and like, he just drives me absolutely crazy. You got to say crazy. You can't say crazy. You got to say crazy.
You're crazy.
She's got it down now. Oh, man. You know, it's funny you mentioned that about Myles because...
Yeah, what are your thoughts at this point? You know, we've had a little time to breathe on it.
Yeah.
Like, could you see the organization really trading him? Or
And all the talk have really died down a little bit about him.
It's funny how time just sort of heals.
Yeah. Do they want to trade him? Absolutely not.
I don't think they will.
I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 with this whole thing because I think if someone like a Washington, I know one thing, they're not going to trade him to anyone in the AFC North. I guarantee you that. That's not going to happen. But I think if someone in the NFC, someone like Washington comes up with, it's got to be a big package.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be a big package, something like 2 number ones, number 2, number 3, number 5. It's got to be something like that, worthwhile to make us trade Myles Garrett. And again, I understand where Myles is coming from. I mean, this guy for 8 years, he's been here with us. 8 years, and he's just given it his all. But I guarantee you, I talked about it before. Those defensive backs don't want to see him go anywhere. They want to keep him right.
That'd be the biggest hit for them.
Yeah, they want to keep him right on this team. But me personally, I would hate to see him go too.
Yeah.
I mean, I just think of Myles right now, just wearing that Browns uniform throughout his entire career. I mean, I just can't see him going and playing for another team. Now, the challenge is for us to get back to playing playoff football, getting back to having a chance to win the AFC title and represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Now, because this guy, I mean, he wants a ring. I mean, he don't want them just thinking about him playing and leading the league every year and just sacks or anything like that. He wants to win a ring. And obviously everybody in Cleveland, we want to see him win a ring, because if he win a ring, that's going to make all of us happy. All of us happy. So I'm kind of excited about it. I don't want to see him go anywhere, to answer your question.
Yep, we don't want to see him go anywhere. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. It's time to go around the AFC North, brought to you by our friends at Garage Beer. And Hanford, one of the things I wanted to ask you as it pertains to the AFC North is, where was my question for you? You know what I wanted to ask you.
I know you wanted to get on me about those free agents.
The free agency.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So free agents in the AFC North, who do you see leaving their team with free agency? We got Steelers and Russell Wilson, Cincinnati and T. Higgins. Give me your thoughts here.
Well, you know, you're talking about those Steelers. Let's start there. I mean, and I think you mentioned, I mentioned that a little bit earlier. I was talking about Sam Donalds, who is right now with the Minnesota Vikings. And, you look at the Steelers, they have 2 quarterbacks that you just mentioned that are probably going to be gone. They're not going to be there. Now, there's a football team that want one of those veteran quarterbacks out there on their team. And I think Sam Darnold might be the one to join the Pittsburgh Steelers because the Vikings are pretty much in a pickle right now, meaning they got J.J. McCarthy, who is waiting in the wings behind this guy. They got to figure out what they're going to do with J.J. And Sam, the way he's playing, he's making that decision pretty difficult for them right now. So it wouldn't surprise me if Sam Darnold, if Mike Tomlin figure out a way to get Sam Darnold on their football team, and I think that'll be a pretty good match for them. Let's go with the Baltimore Ravens right now. Now, this is going to be interesting. The Ravens right now have a guy that they don't want to lose, but they may end up losing him. Talking about their big offensive tackle, Ronnie Stanley. I mean, this guy is all pro, all world. I mean, and Ronnie, they want to keep him, but it may be hard for them to keep him because, he can pretty much write his ticket anywhere he want to go because he is that good. Now you're talking about the Bengals. Guys, T. Higgins is going to pretty much.
Yeah, are we using the franchise? Are they using the franchise tag on Higgins?
Yeah, seems like it, guys. I don't see a way that they come back around after all the contracts fell apart last year. They're probably gonna have to franchise tag him.
There is no question about it, and this is the second straight year if they franchise him that they're gonna that's gonna happen because T. Higgins, guys, he's gonna probably somewhere in the range of $100 million plus contract. That's where this guy is looking. That's what he wants, and that's what he truly deserved because you're talking about the best wide receiver tandem in the National Football League right now, the way these guys are playing, talking about Chase and Higgins. I mean, and we all know what's the rap with the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, those owners up there, they're tight. They're tight with that money.
They are.
They don't want to spend a lot of money. I mean, they want to keep the players, but they don't want to spend a lot of money. And then, Pat, they also have a very popular guy on defense that's up and wants some more money.
Yeah. Trey Hendrickson. They're in a really difficult spot. Because that's the thing too is like if you don't re-sign most of, if not all of these guys, Joe Burrow wants to walk. And
he's made it, Pat. He's made it known that he wants to keep Higgins, especially.
Oh, and rightfully so. So.
Yeah, because that contact. I mean, he want to keep him on this team, so that's gonna be interesting. Now the Cleveland Browns. I mean, who knows what we're gonna do with this whole thing? I mean, your favorite guy, Nick Chubb. Does Nick Chubb stay or is he going, Gab? You think he's going to get out of here? Pat, you had some interesting news
what was the interesting? Somebody called
it's
going to
be. I think it was Bill Barnwell, but so it's a free agent. It's a free agent breakdown list, right? So this is all in the running backs column. So the only best free agent available basically was Najee Harris, and he's tier 3 of capable starters. Not great, not amazing. Bill Barnwell has Nick Chubb in tier 5 in the backups list. So that's the crazy thing is we've got Cam Akers, Nick Chubb, Kenneth Gainwell, Khalil Herbert, Kareem Hunt, Ty Johnson, all of these guys.
Right.
Elijah Mitchell for the 49ers missed the entire season. We're talking about Alexander Madison, who is a backup for the Raiders and barely played over Zamir White and Amir Abdullah. It blows my mind that maybe his knee is just not in shape or whatever. I understand it. Tier 5 feels crazy. If I could pull this back up here and scroll it up to tier 4, listen to the guys that we have here in tier 4. We've got J.K. Dobbins, Rico Dowdle, Raheem Mostert, Javonte Williams. Raheem Mostert was terrible.
Right.
He was also awful. So it's a really strange thing to see Nick Chubb in tier 5 of the available free agents. I mean, my God.
But that's what those injuries do to you. I mean, Pat, and Gab, I know you guys hate to think about it, but he's had 2 surgeries on that same knee. I mean, 2.
And then the foot
situation. And then the foot surgery that he just had. I mean, and they're a little bit afraid because they don't know whether or not he's going to come back and be that.
Yeah. Or like, is he now just injury prone?
Because, guys, we saw him. He was a little timid. And I know he was testing the thing out, but talking to a guy, and I keep bringing up Greg Pruitt because he was an old running back, and he's the guy that had some surgeries. And I asked him the question, did he have any doubt that Nick Chubb was going to be back and he was going to be back in full force? And he said no. He said he can do it. So let's and listen to this. We all hope the best, and we want Nick Chubb to be back. We want him to be back to his old self, and hopefully he could be back to his old self. But that's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. But it's a few quarterbacks that are out there, and we all know the situation. They don't want Aaron Rodgers back. I don't want him on our football team. I wish Aaron well, but I just want.
I don't. He can stay far away.
I don't want him on our team.
Yeah, I don't want him on our team either.
Well, Gab, I don't want him on our team.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know.
But he was linked to the Steelers, by the way, so he could be coming to the AFC North. Do you think the Steelers keep Justin Fields? Russell Wilson seems like he's got a one-way ticket to the Raiders with his former head coach Pete Carroll. That leaves kind of a void for the Steelers. Do you think they go Justin Fields, bring in somebody else?
Justin Fields, guys, I just don't see it.
Really?
I mean, I know he's is that Ohio State guy, right?
Yes, indeed.
I know that's an Ohio State guy. And that has nothing to do with it. I just don't see it with him. I mean, I want to see him have a great career, go on and play well, but I just don't see him turning into that top-notch quarterback. But isn't it funny though? This time of the year. Everybody's just trying to get ready and make their team better. But these goddamn Cleveland Browns, we just got to get this shit straight. I mean, we got to get this shit straight now because I'm telling you, and I hate to keep cutting you off, Gab, but Stefanski and Barry, I think they understand the sense of urgency and how important it is to get it right this time because man, for us to be at the bottom of the AFC North again, it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. So, go ahead, Gab. I'm sorry. I just get so fed up with this whole thing.
I concur. There are things we need to do to clean it up. The thing I was going to ask you was just continuing on the AFC North here. Was actually about the Ravens and some of the moves you think maybe they need to make to have more playoff success. I think we know for us it comes down to, well, there's a lot of things, but the number one being the quarterback. Like the things that we're gonna need in place for this year is some reliability and stability from our quarterback and just our entire offense, and being able to have a strong defense, obviously. But when you look at the Ravens, okay, since Lamar was drafted, Baltimore is 78-38 in the regular season, but only 3-6 in the playoffs. Is there anything, Hanford, you can anticipate that they're going to be needing to do to just have more playoff success?
Yeah, I know. The Ravens, I guarantee you, they'll be the first one to tell you how disappointed they are with their performance in the playoffs because they get there every year. I mean, and Lamar, he is just on a mission. He is on a mission to get this team over that hump, meaning to get to the Super Bowl. But Ravens is a good football team. I mean, I don't think any of us doubt that. They are a darn good football team, and it all starts with their quarterback. And you're talking about the quarterback. Look at the 2 quarterbacks that we have to go against at the top of the division. Talking about Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. I mean, those 2 guys, I'm telling you. And then the cast around them is doing nothing but getting better. The best thing the Ravens could have done was go out and what they did to support that running game with Henry. I mean, they got Henry, and now they can run the football, and that's why they really don't want to lose Stanley as far as their big offensive tackle because this guy, I'm telling you, you just load him up and just say, hey, run behind him, and they're going to get that yard or 2 or whatever they need, especially in that if they need 1 or 2 for a first down.
Hey, curious about what you think that the Ravens are going to do with Justin Tucker. Have you talked to Ozzy about this?
Ooh, no,
I mean, he's got some really crazy investigating. You know, they're investigating all these allegations. 16 massage therapists. It's like Deshaun 2.0 here, and 3 women have spoken out with the investigators. 2 more are scheduled to talk. Like, do you think they'll wait it out and wait for all this to play out, or make a move soon to solidify their kicker?
I think they'll wait. And again, I haven't talked to Ozzy about this. I've stayed away from that topic. But I think what they'll do is they'll wait until the league finish their investigation on the whole thing, because and I find it so surprising, because anyone that knows Justin Tucker, I mean, he's just that a likable, just a nice guy. So I think what'll happen is they'll let it play out, watch and see what happens, what the league decide to do before they decide to do anything. But wasn't you surprised at the whole thing when you heard it came out, or no?
Yeah, and it was like so many. Like, I mean, once you start digging in the weeds and it's more than one person, and then you get a little more of a behind the curtains look, it's kind of like, I mean, yeah, you got something here, so what are you going to do about it?
Well, and then I don't know. I just, and I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I mean, why wait so long? I mean, you know, I don't know, and I'm not in that situation, because you just don't know what's going through a person's mind, and I don't know. I'm just staying away from it. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. But I just feel bad for everybody that's involved. The women that have came forward, and everybody. I just feel bad. I just think it's just a terrible, very unfortunate situation.
It's gonna be interesting to see if they have to go the same route that the Browns did with Deshaun Watson, how the Deshaun Watson camp did. You know, the private arbiter, or whatever they call that, Sue L. Robinson. I think he got 11 games after it was all said and done. It started at like 5 or 6, whatever it was. It's gonna be interesting though, because like they love him in Baltimore. Obviously they loved him before that. So like, they're not going to release the guy. Yeah. Like, just knowing how the NFL works, they're not going to release the guy.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna be tough though. And I'm not saying it happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen, because I don't know. I mean, the only persons that know what happened is just whoever was there. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll have to wait for a little bit more of this to come out. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. You know, one of the things we haven't talked about, Hanford, is how hot this Cavs team has been. We're just on a tear, top of the East, and let's see, 47-10 we are.
Best record in the league.
Well, in the league, yeah. We're on top of the East. And, we got Boston coming up on Friday. We just beat the Knicks and the Grizzlies. It's been really cool. I've been getting credentialed to go to games. So just getting sort of a real inside look at how...
to throw that little nugget in and rub it in. I mean,
she big timed us, Hanford.
Yeah, we don't...
She big timed us.
We don't have... we could just go to the game. Rub that one in, Gab.
No,
you got us with that one.
I'm working. I'm paying attention. I'm getting the post-game press conference material and whatnot. But the other thing is, you're feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
If you go to these games, the energy is just so exciting, and you can tell the team is really playing off of that.
Starts with the head coach.
Oh, yeah. This guy... I mean, Kenny is something else in it. And if you hear any of the other players speak, obviously they all say the same thing about just what a basketball junkie he is and how passionate he is. He's got great relationships with his players, and his brain is just always on. He's thinking up rotations and different things and experimenting, and just has a really good hold on what kind of offense they're trying to be working.
Well, I really like this guy, Kenny Atkinson. Just during his press conference, he's just, you're exactly right. You could tell he's a good, I almost said football coach, good basketball coach. But what I like about this team, guys, is that they're so deep. I mean, they're really, really deep.
Yeah.
And for an example, let's go to the game the other night where they played, I think Darius Garland didn't play.
DG was out last night.
Yeah, he's got a hip injury. He was out. And these guys, it just seems like someone else will just step up and make a play.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the guy named
Ty Jerome.
Ty Jerome. I
Yes.
mean,
He's been unbelievable.
off the bench, 26 points off the bench. Just
15 in the fourth
unbelievable
to close us out.
And here's what I really liked. Did you see the little fight?
The scuffle?
Yeah.
Donovan
Well, you know, in football, you know, we would come back in the locker room and laugh at it and talk about it. But it's a big deal in basketball. But just the fact that they were going at it, I just thought that. And, you know,
it added a level to the game, too, because you could tell Hanford in the arena, the level of adrenaline, that, like, testosterone boost, whatever, it kicked in.
It fires a team up. You're exactly right. It fires a team up and just get them going. What's the one kid that he's pretty good too? He Drew's one of
on our team?
Yeah, on our team. Is it a guy named Drews or Truce or something like that?
Oh, Max Struess.
Max Struess. That's who I'm talking about.
He's the truth.
He's the truth. Yeah.
Hit a little buzzer beater.
I like him. Crazy. I like him. Yeah. And then the new kid that we just added
Ty Jerome,
to the team.
DeAndre Hunter.
I mean, it's just these Cavs. They got me going.
Doesn't it feel different too from last year's JB team? It's just a completely I understand JB set some culture or whatever, but it's a completely
he has more
different.
Depth too.
Yeah,
JB's
for sure.
got more depth this year.
For sure.
People were injured last year,
yeah,
but
of course.
Still.
Of course.
But and then Boston. I mean, guys.
Yeah.
The Cavs are 5 or 6 games ahead of Boston. I mean, for the best record. I mean, we talk about a team that won the whole thing last year, so it's going to be interesting. I think it's the Cavs. I think it's Boston, and then I think it's the Knicks. So.
And it's exciting. I'm excited for Friday's game.
But you just had to rub it in where you can go anytime you want. We have to watch it on TV.
Let's take a break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon show right after this. See ya, sucker. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon show as we round out our show.
Did you like that song I sent you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you like that?
We were talking church songs earlier, and Hanford had sent me one.
That is just awesome.
Open My Heart by Yolanda Adams. And I got to open it on Spotify.
Great. So, did you know that I'm a big NBC guy, news-wise? Did you know that? You know who Lester Holt is?
Oh, yeah, Lester.
How about that?
Did you hear that he's going to...
Where's he going?
He's going to step down.
Oh, okay.
I think he's going to stay with Dateline.
Okay.
But,
I saw that he something.
Yeah, he's going to... He told me, he said, hey...
Lester Holt.
I think he's been there, 10, 12 years, I want to say, as far as hosting The Tonight Show.
Yep.
But,
the NBC Nightly News.
Great talent. Great talent. And it's kind of... It'll be interesting to see who they're going to replace.
He's going to be the full-time role as anchor for NBC's Dateline.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of forget how big of an institution some news anchors are, you know?
Right.
We never had Walter Cronkite in our but people like that
big,
are big, enormous, you know?
I mean,
and
big.
You know, the 60 Minutes people, they're very well known, but it makes me think of Russ Mitchell from Cleveland as well. He was broadcasting reporting on the OJ chase.
Yeah,
he was
crazy.
live that day.
Right.
You know, it's crazy to think how important some of those news people are on the day-to-day lives, you know, how many people they affect on a day-to-day life.
Right. So crazy.
But this guy, you talking about the GOAT of the game, Walter.
Oh, Walter, yeah.
That's the GOAT. I mean,
that's right.
You know,
that's right.
That's the GOAT. Some people say I am singing.
Singing today.
Oh, before I sing.
Speaking of breaking news and just some news to get out is just our condolences to the Dolan family.
Yeah.
Larry Dolan passing away at 94, part of our Cleveland Guardians ownership. So.
Yep, since February 2000, nearly to the day actually, only 9 days removed. But he purchased the team in 2000, and now his son Paul is in charge of the team.
But you know what? He's in a better place right now.
Yeah,
sure.
And he gave a lot. I mean, 94 years of really living and breathing baseball and all kinds of endeavors. So
and Cleveland in particular too, because like
especially in Cleveland,
Dick Jacobs obviously brought the team back, kind of through that strike era, got the new ballpark, that type of stuff. But the Dolans is where the team like really took off, I would say. I know that 95, the mid 90s era of Cleveland was unbelievable, but to sustain through the 2000s was really critical for this city in particular too. So the Dolans were really huge in that as well.
You know, it's funny you mentioned Dick Jacob. He had a son named Jeff, and I was friends with. Well, we won't, but yeah.
I don't know.
All right, noted.
Some people say I'm no good. I'm crazy as could be. Oh. I get drunk in the morning, I get stoned in the afternoon, but I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own.
We'll see you next week.
You
Thanks for
don't
watching
like the way
Hanford
I'm
Dixon
living.
Show.
Leave the short hair country boy alone, God damn it.